Right, I appreciate it, Gary, and thank you all for joining the webinar. Thank you, Volume and Gary, for having us here. We always want to get in front of our customers and really highlight some of the features that we have. You touched on something I just want to highlight really quick. I come from an installation background, and for me, it was always about having options. So if my customer wanted this, I could give them this, and I was a credible source to give them that. If they wanted this, I could do the same. And so I'll be the first to tell you that there are some applications you might find another product and that's better, and I'm fine with that. But there are definitely many applications out there where Doorbird fits nicely, and for those, that's what I want to speak to today. So let me highlight or bring up my screen here in just a second. All right, let's see. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yep, looks good, Justin.
Perfect. All right, so I know a good amount of individuals on the call today are familiar with Doorbird already. I am going to go over our product line pretty in depth, but I'll also highlight some features that are new. So if you're familiar with Doorbird already, let's look and see how we can use this maybe in different applications than we have been. If you're new to Doorbird, then I'm glad you're here. We're definitely going to hit on some items that definitely can help you in your installations. So just to give you a little idea about Doorbird, Doorbird is a German company. It was founded in 2014 in Berlin, brought to the US, sales and support out of San Francisco back in 2015. We literally have Doorbirds, our door stations, our products around the globe. So the basic functionality of Doorbird, not too different than any other product on the market when it comes to video door stations, and that someone interacts with the door station, they hit the call button, you receive a push notification, a notification on your device. You can see the person, you can talk to the person. You can also trigger a relay to allow them in. Okay, so that's where we kind of separate for some of the products on the market, is that you have access control in every door station that we have. In addition to that, you also have the ability to get this app. There's no licensing fees. It's a free subscription. There's no registration fee, and it's available on iOS or the Android store. So every door station will send push notifications out to 8 devices simultaneously. So if the household, the entire household wants to be notified, or the business, the office wants to be notified, up to 8 devices can receive that push notification simultaneously. There's also a free visitor history inside every door station, 50 still images, cloud recording for some options, and again, no fees for that, other than cloud recording, which is $53 a year. So you're going to set up and configure the door station right through the Doorbird app. This would be the admin portal for the Doorbird. You also have the web admin portal if you want to go onto a computer, onto a desktop and enter it. Every device comes with what we call a digital passport. So this contains the information necessary for installing your device. You have MAC address, you have a QR code for quick installation. And again, that's on every single door station and some of our accessories as well. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the different features that are across the board that are standard with our door stations. So first off, I'll let you know they're IP65 rated. So they are designed to be out in the elements. We have these installed in very hot climates, very cold climates around the world. Some additional standard features. Every single one of our door stations has a 180-degree lens. There's HD video, some are 720, some are 1080p. But HD video, 180-degree lens for every single one of our door stations. We also have night vision with 12 high-powered LEDs, as well as a microphone, of course, and speaker. There's a motion sensor and a backlit call button. More standard features, SIP integration. So if you want your door station, if you want your Doorbird to connect to, let's say, an analog phone, or let's say you're going to use a host of SIP phones, or maybe someone's using the old flip phone and they want to be able to talk to the person, hit 9, and trigger their gate or door to open. By means of SIP integration using a SIP server or a PBX, you can make that happen with Doorbird. In addition to that, you also have an open API. So that's where we start talking about our integration with home automation platforms. And we'll speak to that in just a second. A nice benefit, especially for you installers who are in the security realm or installing NVRs or surveillance cameras, is instead of your door station, which is arguably the most important camera on site, which is right there at the front door, instead of that being separate than your surveillance system, you can now incorporate that into your existing NVR or your VMS. And then, of course, you also have connection terminals that are available as well. And we'll talk about those and how they differentiate between each model. So speaking of smart home solutions, this is really why we are, you might say, a door station designed for the CI channel. We integrate with Control4, RTI, Elan, Crestron, Savant, the list goes on. We're compatible with Oversee. So again, a nice solution for many of your existing applications when you talk about home automation. Here are some additional features. Now, some of these are specific to the door station. You have a 4D motion sensor. What is that fourth dimension? It's not time. I'll talk about that in a second. You also have some access control abilities, such as using a key fob with the RFID reader, or you can even use a keypad for access control. Again, all of our door stations give you the ability to have a simple access control solution. Even the rudimentary or basic D101 allows you to do that. Some of them have some additional features, and we'll speak to that. If you look here at our single occupant door stations, you have your residential or commercial use. Again, these really work in both fields. These are single occupant. The D1101V, this is one of our Wi-Fi units. The D101S is also another Wi-Fi unit. I know that many installers, especially volume-tone dealers, they're familiar with the D101S door station. If you're using that device, I want to speak to you about the D1101. D1101 is specifically designed to be the successor to succeed the D101S. There are some improvements that are important, and I want to speak to that if you're still using the D101S. We also have the D2101V, which is, again, another single occupant door station. This comes in an array of different options. You have, for instance, right to the right of that, a mailbox unit. So instead of just the door station, just the call button, now you have a place where you can put in mail in that seamless, beautiful fashion. And then because we're living in the situation we're living in right now, individuals, they don't like to touch too many things. We have a wave option. So instead of touching the button, you can simply wave at the device, triggers the relay, the user receives a push notification and can let them in. So this option is available right now for pre-sale. So it is going to be shipping soon. Again, we're very excited about that because of the climate we're in. It makes sense. And then when we drop down, you see another section here that's our single occupant door stations, except we have access control built in with the keypads. So integrated keypad for D11s, integrated keypad for D21s, and of course, even in the mailbox option. All the way to the right, that's what we call our D2101 FV E-key. E-key is a biometric option. You can actually scan fingerprints, and different fingers can do different things on the back end with the E-key system. Now, just to be clear, we don't actually sell you the E-key module. The E-key module is purchased third party from E-key. However, we do provide the faceplate and the option of housing that unit in it. Of course, all of these door stations come in an array of different finishes and colors. So if you want to get real specific, and if you're working with a designer and they have in mind a specific idea for how the front of that home is going to look, then you have the option here with Doorbird. Of course, the D2101V, you get that from sunburst orange to flamingo pink, it doesn't matter. Those really exotic colors, they do increase the lead time a little bit, but stainless steel, bronze, titanium, those are pretty much available for almost all of our door stations. And of course, in addition to that, we also have surface mount back boxes, protective hoods for just about all of our door stations as well. So for a second, let's talk about the D101. So this is one of the Wi-Fi units, it's one of our older door stations, and this is what drew many individuals to Doorbird. Some cool, nice native features, such as being able to sit right on the LAN. You can hardwire connect this to your router or your switch, a relay built in. Here is why I want to encourage you to look at the D11. So the D1101V, again, this is the successor to the D101 series. So we're talking about upgrading here. So we have a camera, instead of 720 where the D101 is, the D11 now has a 1080p camera. The audio has been significantly improved for the D1101. In addition, whereas the D101, this had a stainless steel veneer, a very thin faceplate, this has a much thicker faceplate, stainless steel, much like our D21 door stations. So what it looks like as far as guts is you have the same connection, the ability for an Ethernet or hardwired connection. It can be powered. You have the included transformer or PoE, like all of our door stations and accessories. It has a relay. The relay here is configurable, however. So you can configure this based on normally open, normally closed, latching, or temporary. The D101 relay, this was just normally open. Obviously, it has the EXT terminal for using a third-party access control device, such as a request to exit button. And here's another benefit. The D11 has a motion sensor that is configurable based on distance and direction. So whereas if you remember the D101 door station, that motion sensor was just your cloud, or excuse me, your area where you grayed out the area you wanted to ignore, just like another IP camera. This one, however, you can set the depth to ignore, or you can say, I don't care about traffic that's leaving the home or the business. I only care about traffic that's coming to the device. So that's a nice benefit there with the D11 series. In many ways, even aesthetically, the D11 is an upgrade to the D101. I'd say 90% of the customers that we speak to enjoy and appreciate the look of the D11 over the D101. Okay, so again, a little bit more about the D1101. This is the D1101 KH. So this is one of our newest door stations. So this unit has all the functionality of the D1101 single occupant, except this one does require a hardwired connection. It's this full stainless steel box, and so Wi-Fi doesn't work well with that. However, you now have that keypad built in. So again, nice access control solution, works really well on gates. The surface mount option actually comes with the surface mount back box and the protective hood. That's all included. So instead of ordering these items separately, you order the surface mount box, you get all, or the surface mount unit, you get all of it. It also has a flush mount option as well. So D1101 KH, again, a nice option for your gates, for a simple access control solution, maybe in a commercial setting or at a residential gate. All right, so your D21 door stations, here's where they differ from the other models we spoke of. The D21 door station has 2 relays instead of just 1. So if you're wiring to a gate and to a front door, for instance, the D21 might be a better option. Another big difference is that the D21 has an RFID reader built in, and that's all the D21 models, from your single button unit here or your multi-tenant units. There's an RFID reader. In multi-tenant applications, let me start with this. If you're familiar with Doorbird, if you've been installing Doorbird, and maybe you've installed the D101, the D11, and always in a single occupant door station, I want you to broaden your horizons, because our multi-tenant units are just as easy to install as any of our other door stations. It's really the same premise there. And they're broken into 2 categories. You have your individual call button, and then you have your multi-tenant directory format. So the individual call button unit looks like this. A visitor comes to the unit, they simply select the name or the number, and that's it. Whereas the multi-tenant unit, they go through, they scroll through the directory and find the person they're looking for. So we can go from 2 to 18 individual units or apartments with the individual call buttons. Once we go past 18, now we're looking at the directory unit for the D21 X series. So again, looking at the D2102 or 18 unit button unit, this has, again, the same features on the back. So you have that dedicated LAN connection. You have the 2 relays, just like all the D21 models. You have a third-party access control device terminal, and you have the included terminal for transformer. One little detail I'll mention is that if you're going to go surface mount with this, then that's fine, D2102 through 6. But once you go to 7 call buttons, now that's flush mount only. So if you do need a surface mount option and you're above 6 buttons or 6 units, then you're looking at our D21 DKX series. This comes in a vertical or horizontal form factor. Same functionality. Again, the visitor is scrolling through the directory, they're finding the person they want, they hit the call button, and it's that simple. But the connection here, it's just the same as any of our other door stations. Of course, these units here that we're looking at, the D21 DKX series, these are available, our surface mount back boxes and protective hoods are available for these units. So multi-tenant applications. And again, I'm speaking highly about that because the interest in multi-tenant door stations has increased significantly. And we see it across the board that end users, they want this type of control. Whereas before, maybe they were okay with the antiquated system that was there on the property, but now they're looking for something that's a little bit more modern. And again, we provide a solution. The IP video indoor station means now, instead of just relying on the app, they have a nice stationary device inside the home or inside their unit. They have the ability to trigger the relay right from that device using the touchscreen and or the hard keys that are built on. You also have the ability to connect as many indoor stations to a singular door station as you want. So it's fully scalable and customizable. There's a huge benefit. The indoor station here does not have to be on the same network as the door station. So think about that. If you're retrofitting a multi-tenant scenario here, and you have your door station, you have all these apartments, there's no wiring, there's no cable that's existing, but each one of those tenants has their own network connection. They can now get back to the door station. They don't have to be on the same network. So a nice solid option there in those retrofit scenarios. Obviously, if you can't put everything on the same switch, that's ideal. But if you can't, you can still use this product. And again, there's no limit right now to how many of these you have connected to our door station. This connects to the network via Wi-Fi or CAT cable, powered via the transformer or PoE. And there's room to room. Let me mention that. We also have room to room feature for this indoor station as well. So you can contact a neighbor right through your indoor station. So some additional accessories that we want to highlight is our IP door chime. So this device here is just what you think it is. It's a doorbell essentially, but it connects to your door station over the network. And again, it doesn't have to be on the same network. So if we go back to the MDU idea again, if you want to have these in everybody's unit that connects back to the door station, you have that ability as well. You have over 50 different chimes, connects via Wi-Fi or CAT cable. Now, another device that connects via Wi-Fi or CAT cable is your IP door controller. So this is used anytime that the one or two relays that are built inside of the door station is not enough. Let's say you're running in a scenario where you have the door station and you have one relay going to the front door, but you also have a gate that you need to incorporate. The IO door controller is the perfect solution. This provides you 3 additional relays per box, and there's no limit to how many boxes you have. It sits on a network, you wire it to the access point, and now you have control over that access point using the relays built inside the app. Some of our installers, they'll use this every project. The reason being is because they want to keep the relay terminals hidden. So instead of someone technically being able to dismantle the door station and getting access to the wires, they could use this device and put it inside of a closet that's hidden. Obviously, below that, you have your PoE injector, which is obviously just that. It's adding PoE or power to your CAT cable. Now, the 2-wire Ethernet PoE converter, this accessory gets its own slide because it's pretty credible. So you're able to send power and data over just 2 wires. So if you're not already using these, it's probably because you didn't know about them. They're very reliable. And again, a nice solid solution. Let's say you're dealing with a D1101 installation. You're installing that on brick. There's an existing doorbell, but the customer already told you that you're not touching their brick. They don't want you digging into their wall to install a CAT cable. So what do? We'll enter the A1071 accessory here. Again, data and power over just that 18.2 or whatever wire, whatever gauge you have that can fit into the terminal. We've used these in different applications, even outside of Doorbird. Let's say that you're retrofitting an old camera system. You have that Siamese cable. The 18.2 that's there could be used here to retrofit a CCTV system and install an IP camera. So again, a very versatile, reliable option. You want to stay under 300 feet. They're technically rated specifically for 262. However, we've learned that if you stay under 300 feet in distance, they're still reliable. You have a sender and a receiver, which each order. The sender is next to your switch or your PoE injector, your router. Then the receiver is next to your Doorbird or whatever device you're installing this to. So again, I absolutely love these. I can't really say enough. So all our information that I've covered with you, additional information such as manual, installation videos, how-to videos, we have many of those now available at doorbird.com/support. So that's a very important URL I want you to remember. Another important URL is doorbird.com/connect. And this is where we house all the many integrations that are available. So if you're trying to integrate this to Control4, if you're trying to use this with Oversee, if you're trying to maybe integrate SIP, then you have the ability to find that at doorbird.com/connect. And of course, our tech support, they're available 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, right there in San Francisco. I'm a resource for you as well as the rest of our sales team. So thank you guys so much for your attention. I know we have some questions, and I wanted to give as much time to that as possible. So maybe we can go into that now.
Wow, Justin, that was super powerful, man. I love where Doorbird's going, and especially as far as the tertiary items you guys have come up with and thinking about all scenarios is so clever, man. So great job, super powerful. So Richard wanted you to talk a little bit about direct sunlight and its effect over Doorbird, over the images. What have you developed anything new on that, or?
Yeah, so in speaking to direct sunlight, it comes up occasionally. And when we dig into those type of occurrences, oftentimes what we see is that the device is having sunlight like from morning to evening, all day long, direct sunlight. The best way I can illustrate it is kind of like an eyeball. If you stare at the sun all day long, it's going to wear over the course of time. So I'll say this, if you have an installation and it's going to have direct sunlight from morning to evening, find a way to cover, provide some type of shade or protection, or it might be that this is not the product in those type of installations. Again, I'm totally okay telling you guys that because I want it to work for the installations that it belongs on. So
you're saying, as far as the length of time in direct sun, what are your dealers doing in Arizona and things like this? I mean, that, it's not necessarily intensity, but it's length of time.
Yeah, I'd say it's not intensity as much, at least the occurrences that we dig into, it doesn't seem that that's the factor. It seems the factor is that those are always in sunlight all day long. Now, if an installer is saying that they have a different experience, it's 2 hours of direct sunlight and that's what they're seeing, I definitely want to know about that because that's news to me.
Got it. Well, guys, hit us with the questions. This is question time. A pretty quick presentation there, but this is all about you guys. I'd love to hear some testimonials, issues that you've had, or even let's bring into the forum things that you want to bid on and you want to integrate this product and you might be hesitant about certain things. Now's the time to get with Justin.
For sure. And I'll speak to the MDU. I keep highlighting that too because we're excited. We recognize that there's not really anyone doing what we're doing as far as providing a super simple solution for a multi-tenant unit, an apartment building, a small, medium-sized apartment building, for their tenants to be connected remotely to the door station without any licensing fees. That's pretty much unheard of. Oftentimes, as installers, we're trying to sell and convince the customer to go with something that's going to be some type of RMR. And oftentimes, we don't see anything for that. So now to have a solution where you don't have to sell any RMR, you just have to say yes and it's done. It makes sense. So if you're working on new projects like that, me and my team would love to speak with you guys and help you out. Awesome.
Richard, who had asked that question about sunlight, was saying it was a south-facing building in Chicago, perhaps meaning a lot of sunlight all the way through sunset time. I'm not sure, but Richard, we can expand on that. Please let's get specific and let's try to find what you were talking about, shading, and I want to find the right solution. What are your guys using in that case? And let's turn that on to Richard. My good friend Lou from Los Angeles. Lou, how are you, buddy? It's always a pleasure. He's asking, how many external door chime units can you install on a multi-tenant system so they all don't ring at the same time?
Yeah, so you can 100% isolate those chimes, so that they're only going to the person they're intended to go to. And you don't have a limit. So I'll tell you this, our multi-tenant units, they go up to 100. But beyond that, we do not have a limit for how many chimes you have installed.
Lewis, physical replacement for Door King post-mounted access controls, question mark?
Okay, I knew that was going to come up because we're talking, this is
way to go, Lewis. I like stumping Justin if you can. No.
So let me start by saying, and I'm going to make an assumption that you're speaking of the retrofit D1812 that we showed off. We had an actual prototype that we showed off at CDA previously. We're super excited. I get inquiries about this like weekly, if not daily. It's coming. It's not out yet, but it's coming. So right now, I hope to see that. And I know this is going to sound vague. I hope to see it next year sometime. Could be sooner, but we'll have to wait and see.
Got it. Thank you so much. Guys, questions? Keep it open. I think we're caught up. Justin, anything else, agenda-wise? You're in a mode of training on some of this new stuff, obviously, right now, getting the product out, getting the word out. I've got some specials at Volutone, so I'll make sure that those links are. I actually introduced a special during the month of November, so good product pricing here for the Snap AV locals for you guys. What else are you working on coming up? Just continue to train through Christmas time?
Yeah, no, continue to train. I think that's the name of the game right now is we are, with this extra time and the circumstances, we are beefing up the training right now. So we're contributing to that as well here at Doorbird. Hey, Gary, I think I see some additional questions in the chat window as well.
I do. I'm going to go over there right now. And Ollie was asking, your opinion, what's the best product to use with the Crestron system?
And I'm assuming you're talking about Doorbird.
Yes.
Honestly, okay. All right. So it depends on the application in that case. If you're working with a single occupant or single family residence, high resi, then something like our D11, our D1101 Flush would be nice and sleek and kind of matches that high quality of a Crestron system. So that would probably be my recommendation. However, if they want access control, if you want to use that keypad and perhaps use that on the back end with the automation system, the D1101 KH might be the better option.
Got it. Here's one for you, Mike. We just installed 2 of 3 DB units in a home with the Elan G and Grandstream IP phone system. We cannot find a way to get to the DB to communicate with both. Any thoughts?
I'll tell you this: SIP can get complicated, especially when you're doing multiple things with SIP technology. I'd say give us a call. We got to dig into it. There's so many variables to consider with that. I think that's the best thing. Give us a call on that one.
Mike, the contact numbers will be on my email a little bit later on tonight, or I'm not sure who you're with. If you're with, an account with us, we'll make sure we help you and we'll get your questions answered and dive deeper into that job, basically. Boyan, RTI integration drivers? Yeah,
so there already is an existing RTI driver that's available, and you can get that directly from RTI. We are in the process of updating that. There's some older UIs that you'll find in their configuration guide. And so our team, RTI's team, we're working on that right now. So yes, that is a thing, and it's going to be improved here.
My good friend Lou again. Can the internal video station release more than 1 access points like a vehicle gate and 2 PED gates?
Yes, sir.
Green gates.
Yes. I want to say the ability, one indoor station, I think technically it's like over 50 different relays you can connect to. But yes, for sure.
Joel asks, any caveats or considerations when using the Holovision Doorbird models for single family homes with Crestron?
I'd speak to Holovision about that. They are using our modules, and they're updating them and doing different customizations with them. So to speak to their specific features, I think you'd want to talk with Holovision.
Lou is elaborating on his question. Did they change the new construction back box? Previous ones were very sharp edged and had to be modified so units would sit flush. Did you change?
I want to hear more about that, Lou. Say that again, Gary.
I was saying, did you make a modification or did you make a dimension change on that?
Not really. I mean, we have new boxes. We have more, entry holes for wiring. But as far as the unit itself, when I see them installed in the field, they're usually nice and flush. I want to kind of dig into that and see what it is that's causing that to sit outside the wall.
Yeah, Lou, let's discuss further. If you are modifying, consistently, let's talk about it.
For sure.
Lou, obviously down out of our Irvine store, see him regularly. So we'll get back in touch with Lou. Thank you, Lou. John, with the D1101V, do you need both PoE and the 15 VDC power supply to power the Doorbird and door opener?
No. So, well, let me answer this. For the door station, PoE is sufficient. That's all you need. And that's the case with all of our door stations, even multi-tenant. However, for your relay or your door strike, you're going to power that separately. So the contacts we have in our units are just dry. So you do want to use your separate power supply for the relay.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Patrick, on the D210 2101 KV, can we set up a static IP for it?
No, so you're going to use a DHCP reservation, but no static IP.
Lou, with an installation note, Doorbird cannot upload through Hughes Net satellite. Is that something that you've heard as well?
Yes. I'm glad that came out. Again, I want to make sure that we're only in the products we belong to be in. And we do not belong to be in a Hughes Net satellite internet. I don't know what it is. Our team, our developers have looked at it, and it's just not compatible at this time. So if you have one of those ISPs, with one of your customers, at least don't look at Doorbird for it. I'll tell you right now, we've tried it and it doesn't work.
Thanks, Lou. Lou's always on it. Yeah, not enough bandwidth, but can be seen just locally on the network.
Yeah, always you can definitely have local area network functions, but if your customer is looking to see what's happening when they're gone, then it's not a viable option.